Hello and welcome to the channel. This will be the first video in the history of AD Draws that will go live. So I just wanted to say a quick welcome to everybody in order to get things going and just kind of explain a little bit about what we're looking to do here. Just sort of bring some of the drawing that I do out to the world of YouTube, and yeah, let some of you see what the process is. Hopefully give you some tips, some hints, some ideas along the way. Maybe tell some slightly humorous stories, and just generally have a bit of an enjoyable time. So without any further ado, the first thing I'm actually going to be drawing today, based on a suggestion of my Instagram, is Toad from Mario. So I wanted to start with something that's iconic but not too that's not too complex. I obviously didn't want everything to be too long going on here. So here you'll see one of my previous pieces. This is Wall-E. Just move him out of the way now, and then we can get a piece of paper and start going here. So what I always tend to do is start with pencil on some of these things. I am using a reference because most artists will always use a reference even if they don't necessarily say anything about it. However, we will just bring the pencil onto the paper and start doing some drawing. So yeah, just trying to get the basics in first. In this video I'll be looking to draw Toad, and then potentially, depending on the time, maybe put a bit of ink on him, and then it'll probably be time dependent another video that I will need to do in order to cover the colour for him. So I'm planning on colouring him in Copic markers, just because that kind of is a medium that I'm experimenting with at the moment. And it's something that's quite vibrant, quite quick where it comes to recording these videos. So looking to do that. So one of the things that you'll probably notice is as I go along that I'll be using this rubber quite a lot. The majority of art is actually just trying to put something in place and then finding out that you're not especially happy with it, and sort of replacing that with something else. But as things are at the moment, it's just, like I say, trying to get the basics of the very toad shaped head and profile in there. So I'm not one of these people who tends to use construction lines. I know a lot of artists do in there, but I personally, it's just not something that I've ever really done. I just go straight in there and start kind of sketching and then see where that all kind of finishes. So as things are so far, I did in fact record another video for the channel the other week, but had an epic fail in terms of the camera equipment. So with that camera equipment, what I found was that the settings that I had on the camera weren't actually good enough to pick up the pencil lines. So when I went to edit the entire video itself, what I found was what you could see was just a hand moving across the page. Lines not being drawn, but just a hand moving across the page, me talking a lot over the video, and nothing there to see. So I thought that's probably not the best thing to upload to YouTube. To be fair, I've seen some worse videos on there, but not really what I wanted people to have as an idea of the first video going on here. But there might be a video, sort of a time lapse or something coming through at some point, just showing you how how that actually did pan out, because all of a sudden at the end of the video it just comes into focus, and as if by magic a shark suddenly appears on the paper, which is a shame because I thought it was going quite well. But these things, you live and learn from them. So at the moment, I'm quite happy with how Toad is coming along. Toad was always like my favourite character in like the Mario Kart series whenever I was playing him, whenever I was playing any of the Mario games. Grew up in the era of Mario 64, which just, when it came out, completely blew me away, as it did with a lot of people, and spent far too long when I should probably have been doing other things playing that game. But yeah, it was Mario 64, what could you do? So the variation I'm going to be drawing today is a blue hat Toad, because as you may or may not know, it isn't his head, it is actually a hat, and it was only in like one of the cartoons, I think from somewhere, that you actually find that out, where there's one scene where he's kind of saying something to Mario and he's actually taken his hat off, and he looks, I'm not going to lie, he looks a bit weird when he hasn't got his mushroom hat on, or to him, whether it is a mushroom, toadstool, whatever the hat happens to be, he just looks weird. I suggest if you haven't seen it that you don't go looking for it and just stick with the Toad that you know and love, because it's a little bit nightmare fuel ish when you actually see him there without a hat. It just goes against everything that personally I believed. So yeah, steer clear of that one. But it is a hat. At least we do know that. Okay, so coming in here with the pictures again, you can see the style that I'm taking is sort of very sketchy in terms of how this drawing is going. I do tend to do that, lots of little strokes with the pencil, particularly when I'm doing it, going over the lines that I'm most comfortable with, just because that's how I've always done it. And that's one of the things that I find where it actually comes to the creation of these pictures, and when it comes to the inking stage, which you'll see either at the end of this video, most likely in a separate video, just because of the time. I don't want to make these too long. People will get bored of me just rabbiting on potentially, but yeah, I don't. The inking is where, for me, it's I'm looking to improve, and one of the reasons that I wanted to kind of like start this channel, just to kind of make it so that I was more happy in that position of inking by forcing myself to do this on front of camera. I have to try and be a little bit, certainly with the lines that are coming out of the inking, a little bit more confident with that, and yeah, produce something in one go that is actually there, and the lines are solid, the lines are straight, because for me, I've had it in the past where pictures that I've drawn have actually been a little bit spoiled by the inking, because if you make a mistake, not so much on white paper, there's ways that I'll probably end up having to showcase, because inevitably I won't hit every single line, but there's ways that actually, when it comes to creating these artworks, that you don't always get it right, and a lot of the work that I do, some of the stuff that you'll see in the title that I'll probably showcase in some of the other videos, is on toned tan paper. Now that is much less forgiving in terms of the inking that you have there, just because on this you can use a white pen and you can go over what you've actually done, where you've missed the lines, but on the toned tan paper it's much more difficult to do that, but the effect that you get is very good, is very different in itself. Just coming to sort of drawing the hands now. Like I said, I don't normally use guidelines, but actually for this, a lot of it I did, you probably saw, rough out the shape of that. Not 100% happy with his hand yet. Hands are notorious, particularly if they're on small toadstool-like creatures. But yeah, doing the hands there, I did just put a basic shape in there just to give me some idea of scale. Again, I probably should scale things out a bit better, but with this toad I just wanted to kind of really get drawing and see where it actually went from that. I'm quite happy again to just like I say, draw and talk. That's basically what this channel's gonna be about. Just me drawing and talking and drawing some more and then talking some more. But obviously if there are any things that you'd like to see me draw, like I say, I do ask on my Instagram channel, which is at AD Kitchen. If you're not already a follower on there. Otherwise, then please do leave me some ideas in the comments. It's very much something that I would like to see what people want to see drawn, and then kind of, yeah, not panda, but obviously drawing what people want to see or what they're interested in seeing. It just makes sense, really. Okay, so what I'm actually doing here is Toad carrying a red shell, and the reason I picked that particular image is just a bit more colour to it, really. If nothing else, Toad is predominantly blue and white, so by doing this it is making sure that I'm actually drawing something, and when I get to the colouring stage you'll get to see a bit more variety coming in for that. Now initially when I started, like I say, without the planning or anything like that, it was going to be a whole body shot, but as you can see my areas on the page didn't quite match up to that. Again, another reason that I should probably put these things in as ideas and as guidelines first, but didn't do it. So here we are where we are, and this is now gonna be the framing of the picture. So at the moment, like I say, it's going quite well. I'll probably do a bit more work on the top, and then the last stage will be to sort of firm up the lines that I've got on the actual picture itself. So once I've done the pencil, I will go over more firmly the pencil to kind of like, firstly, so that if the camera didn't quite work as intended again, that I've got another image that'll suddenly appear on the page. But if it does go okay, that'll just give me a bit more of a guide for, I'm not happy with where that line is, a bit more of a guide for when I do the inking of which lines that I'm looking to pick out from Toad here and in the form, and how that's going to actually look. So that line in itself doesn't come around. Now perspective is important. Again, if it's something that people want to hear about in a video in the future, there's obviously lots of videos out there talking about perspective, and I'm one of these people. I just draw, but at the same time I probably just draw like that because I do understand those kind of rules that you're trying to follow with the perspective, and almost kind of do it in my head a little bit. Again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's the way. So we're getting close to finishing this picture here of Toad, and particularly in the shell itself. Coming in for a bit there. Okay. And this is where it's going to get a bit tricky because they are like I say, very recognisable, these shells. But yeah, anything that people want to see me draw, then I'm more than happy to kind of to give anything a shot, really. I want to draw more. I want to do things that challenge me in the way that I draw, but at the same time have a bit of fun with it. So any sort of quirky ideas that you've got, some of the things that I've done in the past, for example, have been things like mashups. And those mashups have been things like, I'll try and insert a picture here of a mashup that I did, which was Farfetch'd and Pikachu. For somebody who did it almost to say as a challenge, didn't expect me to actually do it. Another YouTuber, somebody who I'd been following for a little while. But yeah, I just took that as a challenge accepted, and drew it, and was quite happy with the outcome. Sent it on to them and they seemed quite happy. So yeah, any ideas that you've got in terms of things that you would like to see drawn, then please do let me know. I'm more than happy to give those a go. Now, one of the things with this is that they're actually quite thick, these lines in between the shell. So give those a bit more width there, and that should make the whole thing a little bit more sensible. Okay, and now the other arm of Toad is coming out the back here, not just in the back of the shot. He's got his big chest, and one of these things that he's famous for is this little waistcoat thingy that he's got, that he has open here. So I'll probably do it, and the place where I will stop is the bottom of the waistcoat. So that to me is a sensible-ish place to stop. So you just get an idea of his foot coming round here at the back. The waistcoat going out. And like I say, he's got his blue waistcoat on here. A little bit just going in there. Big round tummy. Just coming out there. And yeah, that's how he will be, really. Just again a foot in the back here, because he is running along carrying this shell. A bit further down. Like I say, lots of little sketchy lines. Pull it all together at the end. He's too fat there. Let's make him a little bit, put him on a bit of a diet. What does not entirely sure. Again, if somebody's familiar with the Mario canon and can tell me what Toad eats, maybe it's been mentioned in one of the many games, but I'm assuming it's not mushrooms, because that would just be a little bit weird and a little bit cannibalistic, given that he's kind of very mushroom-like, even though, as we've discussed, it's his hat more than anything. Still, let's bring that waistcoat in a bit. So again, just kind of refining some of these ideas to give the image a bit of an idea, a bit of a more finished look. Get rid of some of these lines to make sure that I'm happy with that. Get rid of this line here. Now again, if people want to know more around the process of things, how these things actually come about, why I'm putting lines in certain places, I'm just putting an idea of kind of like some of the shadowing in for when I draw it again later. But now we are very close to what is probably, for now at least, the finished Toad. So I'll just go over the lines, the main lines again, the ones that I'm expecting to keep, tidy it up with the rubber or eraser, if for those of you watching from the States, if there are any. And these are the lines that I will then be looking to pick out in the next video when I look at doing the inking and potentially the colouring for him. Might be a little bit longer, the video itself, and it depends how that goes and what people want to see. So again, I did put it out to my Instagram to say what kind of length of videos do people want to see, and hopefully this will fit into the category that they put in, which they would most like to see, which was kind of the sort of 15 to 20-ish minute videos. And let's get this coming through here. Just the final touches on that. Get his arm connected up to the hand a bit more. Take out the construction line on his wrist and just get his head done around here. He's always such a happy little chap. I wanted to draw something that was a bit cheery, and like I say, he's brilliant. He was always my go-to character in the days of Mario Kart, and I know that some of you guys who I used to play Mario Kart with will probably end up watching this video. Mario Kart and GoldenEye, there's another idea for a drawing. GoldenEye 64, that was, yeah, a lot of hours spent in my youth playing that game and playing Mario. And that's probably why drawing cartoon characters from video games was kind of one of the first things that I came to, even though I do other stuff. Just finish off his little eyes here. Get his mouth in there. And there we have it, everybody. Thank you for watching. I will put his arm in there and get his chest coming out a bit more. And there I will put down the pencil and say, like I say, again, anybody who doesn't already follow, at AD Kitchen on Instagram,